it's probably a little past time for the November TBR, but we're gonna roll it out anyway. Hi everyone, my name is Julie. This is Keep Calm with Books and Coffee, and today I am doing my sort of November TBR. I'm trying to embrace the idea, and I've been kind of making TBR lists sporadically all year as more of a menu of possibilities, list of possibilities, some goals or some ideas, things that are on my radar, rather than necessarily like a full-blown, this is exactly what I'm going to read in November or whatever month. So I'm trying that this month. October, I was kind of doing the same thing, but I really wanted to read all of the books on that TBR, all 5 or 6 that I had. Unfortunately, I only read 2 books all month, and neither one of those was on the like TBR list. So again, this is loose, this is fluid. We're trying to tell you the things that are on my radar that might be coming up, but also things might change. So let's talk about it. The first 2 things I have here are 2 of the oldest books on my TBR, and if you've seen my TBR in review videos, you know that I separate out my books by year that I purchased them and then kind of go over each year. I go over a year every month. So if you're interested in that, that has been going up for a couple of years now. I try to go over a year and kind of trim down those years, or I review what I read from that year. And these are 2 of the longest lasting ones that have been on my shelf. So I have The Daughters of the Storm by Kim Wilkins, and I would like to try to read this month. I also have the audio book of this, so I'm going to give this a shot. And then I also have Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor, which is the sequel to Strange the Dreamer. And if you want a little sneak peek, I am currently working on a vlog where I read these 2 back to back. So I'm in the middle of Muse of Nightmares right now, just recently finished Strange the Dreamer, and if I finish both of these before the end of the year, I knock another year off of my TBR, meaning that I am that much closer to being like caught up and current with my physical TBR, which is always the goal, right? So these are 2 that are definitely high up on my priority list. Then kind of on the flip side, or the other end of the spectrum of that, I have The Innocent Sleep by Seanan McGuire, which is a recent release. It released in October, and I'm currently buddy reading this with a friend. This is like the 17th book. Well, okay, if you saw me talk about Sleep No More last month, this is a sort of companion to that book. I'm thinking we're going to end up making this like 17.5 instead of book 18 in the series, that you have to kind of read these together in order to like continue on, but it's not necessarily like moving the story forward. Anyway, that's a lot of context to say I'm really enjoying the audiobook of this, which is interesting because it's not the normal narrator. We have a different narrator for this book than we normally do, and a different perspective than we normally do. So I am flying through this, really enjoying it, but so this will get read this month for sure. Then we also have Bombshell by Sarah MacLean. This is Hell's Bells book 1, and I'm currently reading this as well. This is part of a series that I have talked about quite a bit for never finishing a book in this series. So I read the 3rd one over the summer, or most of the 3rd one over the summer for a book club, and realized that when I went to book club and everyone was talking about how great the first 2 were, they're companion novels like most historical romance series are, but it made me want to read this book. So I hadn't finished the 3rd one. I'm jumping back to the 1st one. It's kind of all over the place. But anyway, this is a series about historical ladies in Victorian times that are sort of fighting against the man. There's 4 of them who are working together to sort of sabotage men in power who are abusing that power or taking advantage of people in order to gain more wealth and power, and they are also acquiring husbands along the way. So it's very fun. I'm enjoying this first book, and I can't wait to read the rest of the series. Then, for being in such a slump in October, that is a very ambitious stack to even start with, and that's probably only even half of what I'm going to talk about. So we also have some graphic novels that I'd like to try to get to this month. The first is All-Star Batman. I bought this about a year ago when visiting some friends in another state, and this is a like modern Batman comic where I think Batman breaks Two-Face out of jail or is taking Two-Face back to Arkham. I forget which way it is. and everyone is trying to kill Batman and Two-Face on the way. So sounds really interesting. Can't wait to read it. Will be interested to try it. And then we also have Lore Olympus Volume 5, which recently came out. I love these Barnes & Noble exclusive covers, and I am super excited to, oops, I'm losing things out of the book. I'm super excited to read this next installment, so I'm hoping to get to that this month. Then I also have Vision and Scarlet Witch, the saga of Wanda and Vision. I bought this a little while ago. I think it might have been last year or the year before. And when I bought it offline, and I didn't realize that this was going to be like the older style comics. It's like a compilation, so I thought there would be some of those in there, but I didn't know it was going to be all older comics, which can be hit or miss for me because they can be very dialogue heavy but not very engaging with the characters, like to me. So I'm interested to see if I like this, but I want to try to give it a try this month in order to see if I want to keep it on my TBR or if I want to, maybe it's not for me. Then before we transition, or I transition into holiday romances and that type of feel for books, there are a few more autumn reads that I would like to try. So I'm currently rereading Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. I read this in August and absolutely adored it. Loved it to bits. And I'm sort of casually rereading it because at the time I finished this, I didn't have access to Harrow the Ninth, and now I do. So I am casually rereading this, trying to get to the end, and then I'm going to pick up Harrow. So this is sort of a, if I get to it, that'll be great. If not, whatever, because I'm just sort of reading this whenever I have time. I also have Heart Haunt Havoc by Frieda Moon, which was on my October TBR, little novella that I would like to get to that really fits in with this time of year, with the spooky and the ghosts and the exorcist themes. Really excited to, that's another reread that I would like to get to, but if I don't, it's okay. I'd also like to get to How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix, because I talked about this in my October TBR as well, that these couple are kind of like holdovers, because I had to pre-order this in January. I was like so excited that it was coming out. I really wanted to try it, and then I never read it. So I'm like forcing myself to try to read it this year, hoping I can get to it before the end of the year, because, you know, it was an expensive hardcover pre-order that I got and then I never picked up. So something I'm trying to work on. And then the last two things I have here are Illumicrate books. Now I've had Illumicrate for about a year now, and I'm not sure I've even read one of the books that has come. And I didn't get every box. I think I've gotten 6 or so boxes, and they've been fantastic. The books are beautiful, but I haven't read any of them, including the book that I started getting Illumicrate for, which is The Luminaries by Susan Dennard. So I'm absolutely going to read this in November. I swear, I am going to get to this book, even though it has been on so many TBRs over the past year. I'm going to get to it this month because the next book is on its way to me, and I demand from myself to read this. I was so excited for it. I had been anticipating that book for like 2 years, and then it came out and I never read it. So, and then the other one that I'm hoping to get to this month that is also an Illumicrate book for me is The Witch King by Martha Wells. This is gorgeous. I love this cover, and it sounds really interesting, and I'm hoping that this is good. I don't know. I have sort of tempered expectations for this because it's a fantasy that I've sort of heard mixed things about, even though I love Martha Wells' writing in the Murderbot series. So we'll see how it goes, but super interested to try this as well. And that is my TBR for the month. Now, I am probably not going to get to everything, like I said, but I am really hoping to get to at least half of this because I have all of the reading mojo back right now. I am starting too many things, but making progress in a lot of them. So really hoping that this TBR is going well. So that is my TBR for the month. Like I said at the top, I will probably not get through everything here, but this is just kind of helping me focus on what I want to accomplish in November, and also to give you guys an idea of what might be coming up. I'm not participating in any readathons this month simply because I am finally getting out of the slump, and the readathons I knew about were very chaotic, which sounds fun. I love participating in those every once in a while, but I personally wasn't feeling it this month. So there is a ton of readathon sprints going on though for all over the map. So between NaNoWriMo and I saw Get a Clue readathon is doing a bunch. That will be great for me this month. And I'm also trying to listen to my audiobooks when I go on walks this month, because Leandra from Leandra and the Zero TBR mentioned on her channel that she's doing sort of like a little move challenge for herself throughout November and invited people to join along. So I am also trying to participate in that and listen to audiobooks when I do it to try and step up my reading game again this month. But that is it for me today. If you have any thoughts or feelings about the books I talked about in this video today, please let me know down below. If you want to see me again, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe down there as well. But that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.